No, this is a $200 attachment.
Oh wow.
So there you are.
Only hold it like this.
You can hold the bag. I mean, it's treated like a cell phone.
Okay.
And it's been sanitized, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. I just don't want to mess anything up.
You know, so this is attached through a USB-C on the bottom, and then the battery pack is obviously just plugged into the camera.
Okay.
Very, very simple.
Got it.
All right. So.
She plays beer pong with herself. I heard something.
Questions, comments, concerns about what's going to happen tonight?
Let's go find some.
This is actually pretty cool.
All right.
My question is, I'm pointing the laser when you say something.
Yeah, so I'll give you the locations, like where the laser grid pen, A is acceptable, and 2, where I found things in the past.
Okay, cool. All right.
So just like in the TV shows, they usually put up, oh, I heard a disembodied voice here, so they set up an EVP recorder. Yeah, hold on.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
So I have a question. So how do you feel about like the shows on the Travel Channel, those
They're all
ghost
bullshit.
shows? Okay, so you feel that way too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like he said, like, oh my God, I walked in this room and I got a headache.
Yeah.
You know, like
I got scratched.
Yeah,
Right.
like suddenly, you know, there's a ghost here because I got a headache.
So here's what I will not do. Notice everything that we have tonight is an electronic gadget. It takes batteries. It's an electronic format. I don't use Ouija boards or anything like that on these tours. I don't do anything manual. The only thing that's manual that I have on me is a compass. And that's only because I've been testing a new theory of high EMF areas to make sure the compass is going to spin. Just keep going. That's a theory.
Have you seen that?
I've messed with magnets with it to see if it actually works. It does work. I haven't, like I've used it in a couple high EMF areas where we are getting good detection from your device, and I haven't seen it spin to like say, oh, it's actually affecting the compass.
Right.
But again, electronics all in your hands. I'm going to record this entire thing because you guys are going to get 3 things out of this. First off, you're going to get the entire recording, audio, to listen for EVPs. Okay, it's going to be uploaded to my website.
That's cool.
Second off, we're recording everything on that video.
Okay.
It's going to be uploaded to YouTube, and then I will put the YouTube video on the same page.
Okay.
Oh, neat.
And the third thing, so let me start this.
That's cool.
Sorry, it's not TikTok.
So leave that one down.
May 29th, 9 p.m. tour. So I use a couple of apps on my phone. And you're probably thinking, Nick, really apps? So I use an EMF just as a backup to your device in case something goes wonky. We lose batteries, we still have an EMF detector. But one of the cool ones that we use is another spirit box on my phone. Now, this is meant for a game, hoax, college kids, get drunk, whatever. If I were to have this thing sitting at home, a place that's not haunted, it would give me a random bullshit word like every 3 to 5 minutes. However, on this tour, this will help us direct of who's talking to us, who's trying to communicate, those kind of things. You're going to get the list of words that this thing's going to produce. I will also highlight anything that I feel is relevant. 60 to 75% of the words that are going to come up are bullshit. They're junk. They're garbage. I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh my God, it said flower, and we're near a bar. It makes no sense. Okay? So, that's one app.
Why don't you believe the ghost hunters people?
Because it is bullshit.
We're doing the same thing.
Well, not necessarily.
They're doing it clearly for the entertainment.
They probably started off just like I am right now, but they also have a TV show to continue.
Right.
Yeah.
I am not going to put my own feelings, thoughts. If I feel anything, I keep my mouth shut. I don't say I feel a breeze or I'm getting a headache, I feel dizzy. I don't put that on you guys. I'm not suggestively saying anything to show like, hey, I'm being affected.
Yeah, they've got to fill a time slot for that TV show.
Exactly.
Right.
So
I mean, they're still entertaining, but that's all it is entertainment.
The
I mean,
next
you
app
watch
is
them,
a
don't you?
reverse spirit box. So it's basically taking the same radio signals and it's reversing them. So take a listen to this guy. Sounds like complete gibberish, yes?
Yes.
When we hear something from this, it's very clear and direct.
Oh. But
Like-
it's coming in backwards.
It'll come in forwards.
I mean, it'll come. Okay. We'll hear it forward.
We'll hear it forwards,
But it's
this
coming
is
in there
coming
backwards.
so that way we can actually determine what's
That's
coming
creepy.
forward.
That's the first thing that's freaking out already.
The other cool thing is you're going to be able to hear this on your audio because I'm holding it in. This is where your EVP recorder's at. So you're going to be able to hear this and my voice. It's not overbearing to where like, oh my God, that's the other thing you hear. So I will use this in periodic times where I know I've had communication in the past, and I'll have the other app running at the same time. So you're going to hear a chirping and a little bit of static from that one. So when it gets excited and it has an FM signal it wants to grab and something's trying to communicate, it'll give us a word with that chirping. So after that, it's not going to say the word, it's just going to give it to us right there in the center, just like that. It just said the word fraction. If and when I'm telling a story and this interrupts me with a word, I will stop and say, it just gave me fraction. Does that make sense? Just so that we're all on the same page and I know where I'm at and listen, because I listen to all of these tours, I watch all the videos, I'm looking for evidence that we can't see during the tour. Okay.
So we may catch something later in the video or the recordings that
The investigation
we never
goes on.
even. Yeah.
It's the easiest way to do it. What's that?
It knows we've been homeschooling our kids.
Right?
It's all fractions this year.
It's haunting you.
It's been a 3 months of fractions.
All right, so
true.
before we truly get started, who has had an experience with somebody they know that has passed on?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean after they're dead?
Oh, after they're dead. Sorry.
Well, the only thing is that when my grandfather passed away, my son we were all in the room, and he said,
Well, this was the moment he was passing away.
but the second he passed away, my son couldn't talk. He was only 9 months old. He was only saying little things, and he went, bye-bye. So it was
Like as he was passing.
when he passed.
So he
The
knew.
second he passed away, my son said bye-bye.
What was your grandfather's name?
Leroy.
That I can remember. So a lot of times I'll get something that's coming through that's directed at one of you. It happens all the time. It happened last night. Somebody's father came. Super cool. We got the letter F, just to kind of give you an example. And it was like, everyone's like, I'm like, hey, I'm just telling you what it said. It just said F. So then 2 words later, it said diabetes. The woman's jaw dropped and said, my father, named Frank, had diabetes. So, super
I gave
cool.
you chills.
Yeah. All right, so you're probably wondering why we start here. You guys want to hear a story?
Yeah.
All right, so
Absolutely.
I mean, this place looks on it.
it is. It is awesome. So super cool place. It actually used to be, it's like a Caribbean bar. Really cool, like popping kind of place. But again, he left. But before that, it was a place called Big John's. Big John was a football player. Don't ask me what team. I don't follow sports. I'm an English guy, remember. So anyway, Big John used to sit at the back of the bar and kind of nod off to the bartender to let let him know if the cadets that were coming over from the Citadel, if they were of age to drink. So one night, he told the bartender these 2 guys aren't of age. He knew everybody, pissed them off. So the next night they come back, they take the register from the front. Big John pulls out his .45, he shoots one of them and takes him out, dead. The bullet hole is still in the front of the building. It said that anybody that sits in the front of the building gets ill will. So they stomach aches, headache, dizziness, those kind of things. I bring that up because if any of you feel those things, I already told you I can handle this because I've been doing it for decades. If any of you feel that way and you're not used to the feeling, we will all stop. Obviously, you're all friends, family. We will stop and help you out. If we have to stop the tour, we'll stop the tour. Hasn't happened yet, fingers crossed, but it can. Just kind of giving you that warning ahead of time. Everybody got comfortable shoes on. We're going to be walking on cobblestone.
You can see the bullet hole here.
The last owner covered it up with a panel, but he left it there because he knew the place was haunted. It has that kind of feel to it.
When did that happen?
That was 78. So that was kind of recent.
Yeah.
Was that 40 years ago?
42.
Yeah. Another death here. Is he recording the whole time? He is recording this the entire time.
The ground. Cool.
The ground.
Good job, buddy.
It's okay. He's getting
He should wait for instructions.
So, got the word break. So the other cool, and you can actually, you can record the whole time.
Oh,
so that way we have some video. Great. So there's another death here. We had a big earthquake here in 1866. Okay, it was like a 7.8 or something like that. Anyway, the mantling that you see there along the building, in the front of it, a piece of it fell because of the earthquake, struck somebody in the head and killed them. His apparition is said to have been seen in the front. I get to see him like in front of the building, not inside. I have gone inside and have talked to Paul, asked him if I could waiver on the EMF a little bit. That's kind of my first determination. He gave me that access. Oh, that's actually a really good idea. See? I knew I should have brought that gadget. But there was a table that used to sit here, and it's the only place I ever got
Yeah, it's all
the
same.
EMF. So
Do I
need the
push
table?
this button?
No, that just turns it on and off.
Oh, okay, sorry. So
There you go.
Yeah.
Just hold it.
I just hold it and wait. Okay.
Wave. Yep, wave it around. All right, guys, want to take a walk?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's go this way.
Someone's just naked.
Chicken coop somewhere?
I keep seeing our reflections, unfortunately.
It's creepy though.
I like to have this. Oh, shit.
token, I used to go in and talk to the patients in there because I wear my shirts and whatever, and they're like, oh, who's this guy? And Paul's like, oh, he does the ghost hunting stuff. So it was kind of cool. I was drawing business from it.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys see the Crew Cafe right there? Heard food there is awesome, so if you guys need a good breakfast or lunch spot, that's the way to go. But it is haunted. The upstairs bathroom is where I got the EMF. So everybody look at his EMF. Where's holding it? He's already getting.
Did you see that?
I did.
Look.
So I'll give you the story of why that's doing that here in a second. I'm supposed to be doing a full investigation of the Crew Cafe, hopefully this summer, if they'll still allow me to go inside and do so without interrupting business. But I can't find the title to the house because it used to be an old slave house and it just expanded. So everything basically from the second floor and on the back of the house is all new. And slave homes did not have addresses. So it's really like going into the records and trying to find those things. It's really hard and difficult to do. Apparently there was a suicide that happened there, but I'd like to find out more. Apparently the owner knows a little bit more of the story, but she was too busy with customers.
Here we go, guys.
All right, so sometimes standing here, that will start to go off. Sometimes it waits until I'm at the very end. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a little Charleston fun fact. See the stop sign down there?
Yeah.
So Revolutionary War, ships pull up, shoot a cannon, cannonball lands right there. No deaths, no tragedies, no anything. Just weird, cool, fun fact. I mean, if we dug up the asphalt, we'd probably find more of the cannonball. It's pretty cool stuff. So anyway, back to the EMF. Sometimes it starts as we're walking up, sometimes it waits a few. I don't have a story here. I can't even lie about it. So the red barn, this is where they keep the horses for the carriage rides. I'm sure you guys can smell the horses. I'm pretty much immune to it now. But this barn has been here for so long. This is also where they kept the horses that delivered milk to the homes of downtown Charleston. So that kind of gives you an age. We're talking like 1870s, 1880s. So that's basically how old this building is. I get a ton of activity here.
I just heard that thing make a.
Yeah, you're gonna get some spirit box activity. When you start spitting out words to me and you're like, I heard something but I can't make it out, that's when I'll start turning on the reverse spirit box, because I've had communication and actual conversations in here with my spirit boxes and yours. They'll kind of work together.
Whoa.
That was the
That
first
was-
one that I noticed.
What did you hear?
I couldn't hear what he said.
Yeah.
It was
sorry.
a male
But it was
voice.
a word?
It was a male voice.
Okay,
That was the first clear one.
also can think of, even if you hear a DJ, I have it spinning so fast that if a DJ spits out a word, think of it as Bumblebee from Transformers, where he talks through the radio.
Yeah.
It's the same principle. Song lyric, DJ. Not one of those things. If you're still hearing that skipping static sound and you hear a voice over top of it, that's really what we're after.
Okay.
I will tell you, at the end of this, near that back right corner, 2 times this has happened, and I've given this tour dozens of times, I've gotten a little bit of anger going on over there. So I'm not going to say I'm going to steer clear of it. I moved the tour along just because we don't need any malevolent. This is supposed to be fun, and we don't need any nastiness. If I feel like that stuff, you are guilty, that's great.
Negative.
Again, we don't know if that's going to be anything partial yet. But if I do feel anything negative where we're going to be influenced in any way, I will move this along very, very quickly. Okay? So the grid pen is a good place in here. Obviously, we're going to be looking for cold spots. The spirit box is super important in here. So temperature gaugers, be watching stuff. All right? So I'm going to actually turn this up just a little bit so I can, just in case I start getting
What
some
said you are guilty is the same thing she has?
No. So I have 3 spirit boxes running right now that are going to give us 3 different things. The spirit's going to go to whatever they're comfortable with. So let's take a walk through, see what we find. Watch your EMF very closely, because whenever we get super high on that, then that's usually an area that we can start really gauging stuff. And watching.
I'm getting up to the orange. Whoa, I got a red dot. But
Now-
could it have anything to do with these fans?
So in order for this thing to actually have any kind of
Oh, it's the water.
The water makes it cold. It's interesting. It's really cool. You can see what's colder. You know, the concrete versus asphalt, right?
Mm-hmm.
people try to debunk it with what's coming out of the air conditioner, the electrical box up there. There's a sewer below us. There's really no reason.
That door is way colder.
It's
It's even colder than the wood above it.
And look how the light is like lighter yellow. It's really interesting. The other door is very pretty. Like air conditioning on the inside.
Yeah.
Even the metal door.
When we start getting into where it won't stop, like that's where we really get the camera going. We make sure, like it's watching the area that you're in to see if there's any cold spots floating around. You guys can obviously gauge it with the other temperature gauges without.
The fans are definitely pulling off.
Believe it or not, this is just me.
Really? Wow.
Yep. So the guy that I partnered with is starting this new company. He sits, I tour. Like that's how this goes. And he,
I just heard another word.
I've had names come through here, like I would say more modern names. Brandon, James, which can kind of go back and forth.
Where's the recording this from? Just out here?
It's taking FM AM radio stations.
That's the FM radio.
Yep.
But that's not.
Well, that is, and so is what Kristen told me. Are both.
So I have the noises you hear aren't coming from this app. They're coming from this app.
Oh.
I have both of them running at the same time. So this one's going to give us words.
Because it's hearing it and translating for you.
Right. And then the other one is playing everything in reverse so that way we can hear the forward words.
Why would Spirit speak in reverse?
No. The reverse is so that we can determine what it's actually saying forward. When you hear it in reverse, because the human voice has a tone to it. If you actually think of, like I mean, so Spirit is going to speak over top of it, basically, or speak through it in a forward motion. We can determine what those words are because everything else is in reverse.
Oh, yeah.
Making sense, but what?
Except for what the Spirit says. Does that make sense? So, if it's non-spiritual, it's going to be in reverse. If it's spiritual, it'll be forward.
Oh, okay, so still first.
Pretty much. And I got the word retreat.
So if I talk to it,
We're on a couples retreat.
or
If you're on the radio,
we're on a retreat,
That's what I just said. We're on a couples retreat.
or it means go back.
Yeah, let's go forward. I'm all about going forward.
So somebody on the retreat is guilty.
Somebody on the retreat is guilty. It's not me.
Something's going nuts. As David
Oh,
said.
I got some activity. No, it stopped again.
I got electric. It's the word that came through.
There was some lightning.
It was.
There was lightning a minute ago.
Actually, a really good place for a grid kind of to see like how far it'll go out. Super slow. So you really can't make a determination of what the dots are. So it's just to kind of give you a gist of what you're looking for. Go ahead and hold it on right there. You're looking for those kind of streaks.
What street?
Like it just blocks out
Yeah,
places of it.
if you catch something like that, amazing. But a lot of times it's going to be a quick little glimmer, and you just have to be careful. Some of these places have like the stones that might glimmer back and shoot circles and so on. So we have to debunk things first to see if we can recreate it. How's your camera going?
I haven't seen
Catching
anything.
anything?
No, I haven't seen anything yet.
I got the word color. I'm talking about your camera. Somebody's watching us. Fan is killing me. We might want to move away from the fan. Box. I just heard the word box come through.
Box?
Box.
Huh.
I'm getting all the way into the double red here in a second.
Have him what? Style. Again, most of the words that come through are going to be together. Right? So let's try to move the film over to like where his EMF is. The word wash.
It was a minute
There
ago.
is some water. There's some cold spots in the pavement.
So what we're looking for is anything that's going to kind of form. You see kind of like how the barn is colder? If you see any like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I'm looking
Look at that. Can you maybe move the dot over to that area? Go a little higher up. See if it reappears.
got spirit around it.
That goes down to 80 degrees.
See if you can catch some smoke over here.
It's really coming up.
So we had like almost like a figure show up, look near like it was near the barn.
Did you see that? Did you see it, James?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
We're just trying to catch the temperature to see if it'll come back.
Here.
It's dropping in temperature or is it going up?
It's going up, but it was colder.
Oh, wow. It went away.
That's where I saw the figure at, actually.
Yeah.
It's really hard. No, I don't think so.
You guys didn't intermix.
Yeah.
You guys are all friends. I don't think I have anything to do with any of it. It's okay.
It's totally cool to have some experience. I need more people about it.
Can I ask? I'm curious for you. What? I'm sure you get this question a lot. What is the
Pointer straight ahead.
most
Trying to do better
what
than
is intriguing, active, crazy, interesting, real
And
life
go to your right, just ahead.
person? It doesn't have to be on the tour. She's got.
My tool's broken. There you go.
Yeah.
But I know what type of vanilla specifically. Had some weird berry flavor in my vape, but all I could taste was vanilla pipe. That's the only thing I remember from that entire session. I thought we were on the board for maybe 15, 20 minutes. We were on it for 3 hours.
Wow.
I know, he told me. Still nothing. That's too.
Those are 2-year-olds, really?
You get drunk as a skunk, but don't steal it. Don't really do the rest of it.
That, I mean, I've dabbled with things I shouldn't have. Black mirrors, when you were talking Black mirrors is probably the most malevolent things that I've ever really messed with.
Black mirror.
Black mirror is a portal to the other world.
I've had the same figure appear to me in multiple locations, like different locations.
What are we talking about? What does it look like?
It looks like a shadow,
Okay.
a big black shadow. And my friend and I saw it at the same time, and we saw it. She would see it on separate occasions, and when I would see it, it never felt good, and that's why I hated it. And I told him about it, and I was like, we were going out to play, like, truth or dare, and we went out, and it was like 2 in the morning, and we were eating, and all of a sudden we saw this figure across the street, like down by school, and all of a sudden he was like charging at us, and we ran back to the house, and he just disappeared. He never crossed the street, it just disappeared. And then we were somewhere else together, and there he was again. And then I was somewhere with my boyfriend at the time, and he was like, there's a guy watching us. And I'm like, it was exactly that same.
Wild story I have. The house we moved from. We went on vacation. Whenever we came back, our attic door was wide open. Like it was like an actual door, not like a And so I start before we go on vacation, because that would happen so often. This is an old building. I would shut the door, make sure it's fully latched. Yeah, there were two in that room. I would make sure the door was fully latched. And the first thing I'd do is when we would come back from vacation, I'd run upstairs and I'd check. That door would be open every single time, but only on vacation. If we were gone for more than a few days at a time, that door opened on its own every single time, without failure, until we
So
moved.
you've never heard footsteps or felt anything?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that's true. I did one time.
He thought
So
me
my
and our
office
kids
was in
were
the
coming home.
basement. and the door coming in from the garage, the flooring was right over my office. And I would, because at that time we had young kids, and I would hear, you know, every time I would always know when they got home, because I worked from home, and I would hear them running through and on the floor above us.
Yeah.
And so whenever that would happen,
man.
that's when I would run
I thought I
upstairs.
saw a figure, but it was Jason.
So I would run upstairs all the time when I would hear that, because that was my cue that they were home.
Right.
And I'd run up and say, hey, give everyone a hug and a kiss. Well, I heard that clear as day one day. I ran upstairs, just like I always did, to go give them a hug and kiss. No one was at the house. I looked in the garage, Carl wasn't there. I called Amber, and she was nowhere close to me. So that was the only, I could never explain it. So apparently our old house had some strings going on.
There used to be a farm,
It used to look like
so the house was so old. I don't think
it
they ever
was
died.
built in 09. No one died in it. There was nothing
It
but,
used to be farmland.
but I don't know what happened on the land before.
It's farming.
You want to try this, Will?
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next
Are you responsible enough to hold that? It's Jason's.
I'm getting a lot of here now.
So I'm looking for blue.
And we got that one
This is
figure.
all blue.
While
So
she was talking,
something was just
at the
saying
same time, that was during
blue.
your story.
Like it'd be red,
trying
like
to go
a
up
red
and see what
figure
it
with
is.
blue around it.
Blue around it.
Yeah, so the
And I
shape
say all
is
this stuff out
weird.
loud, and I keep it relatively
You have to be
close,
careful,
so that way
because
you
we
can
saw
kind of go
it.
back and verify, like, keep 30
It's just the
seconds,
way,
see what I
if you move, it's
Yeah.
there and gone. It's like it's just the angle of the airflow.
Okay.
So I didn't really see anything.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh.
We're talking about more springs. No mineral springs, never mind. Sorry.
This is my hottest spot. I've only had 2 nights where there was absolutely no activity here whatsoever. And that includes the EMF, where the EMF was busy. This is the Pinckney Mansion site. So Eliza and Charles Pinckney, this is where they lived. Their mansion was in the front. Eliza's garden was lined up with the dumpster over here, and then the slave homes were back here. Charles, his son, Charles Coatsworth Pinckney, were both signers of the Constitution. However, care about politics. I don't like talking about politics. It's just an interesting fact that this is where they live. The story really lies with Eliza. Eliza married Charles so that she could stay here in Charleston. Her father wanted her home back in England because he was sick. She didn't want to go back home, so she married and stayed. However, her father got better, continued to send her plants and other things. She was a botanist. Okay, so Charleston is well known for our plantations, right? Rice plantations went to hell. We needed something to kind of bail us out. Eliza had this new plant called indigo. So if you do any kind of exploration of Charleston history, you're going to find indigo everywhere. This is where it started. Indigo is actually blue dye. So it comes from a plant, makes blue jeans. So if you're not familiar with that, the cool thing about this whole story is that Eliza was also a businesswoman and was able to sell it overseas to make it successful for Charleston and bail us out of our farms that were basically failing. So that all started right where you're standing. So Eliza loves me to talk the word crossover. It's interesting. Eliza loves for me to tell her story. In here, I've actually heard her name come through on the reverse spirit box clear as day. I have the recording on the website. You can go back and check it out. I've had communication with her several times. I usually get a lot of things that deal with walking here. Different types of plants, seeds, soil, those kinds of things. Actually, I had more of that last night. Keep in mind, this is a parking lot. So we kind of have to watch cars coming in and out.
Why did they tear it down?
This actually,
Sounds like it had been a pretty historical house.
well, it actually was under fire. So in 1878, I think it was, they decided to tear it down, and it's been several things since then, and there's always been some type of evacuation and a story that goes along with it. Hence why there's so much activity here.
Was this her fencing?
No. Arrest is the word I just got. This wall was actually put up by the last place that was here. It's called Molly Darcy's. It was a restaurant bar. And there is conduit. I will just put it out there along the wall and for some wiring hanging. And I tested all of it with the EMF, daytime, nighttime. None of it is live. So there's no reason why that should be going off in any part of this lot. And it will go off pretty much the entire lot randomly. I got the word insect. I also get the words bones, berry, body, those kinds of things when I'm in here too. And it's usually within a theme. So if it happens that particular night, it's usually something grouped together along those lines. So spirit box is super important here. So if you hear anything, please speak up. That way we can get it on the audio. Obviously the cold temperatures work wonders. Keep in mind that the objects like near this trailer back here are gonna be colder. So I don't know why we measured them last night. They were all colder. Oh, cool. So you guys see the light that's flickering back
Yeah,
there?
I noticed that.
So that light, sometimes when I'm here, it's doing that or flickering in another manner. Sometimes it's full on, and sometimes it's not on at all. However, if you stand in the center of that lot and hold up the EMF so we can all see it, it will almost be in the same.
What is the light from? What's the building?
That is 5 Church Restaurant.
Oh, it's a church, an old church, right? And that used to be a church.
It's because of Church Street.
Oh, the
It's
shape
shaped-
of it is like
That's
a church. Yeah.
That is-
Okay.
So if you actually, and we've actually videoed this frame by frame it. See how close it is? Pull out your cell phone and test my theory. By all means, videotape it. But again, sometimes it happens. Pretty good activity on this. Yeah, again, Eliza got the word supply. Eliza loves me when I start mentioning her name. That was usually light up to red. So when I said like Eliza, the light up to red. Eliza. We can speak to these spirits that I believe are here. I believe Eliza just hangs out here. Granted, she's not buried here. She's buried in Philadelphia. That's where she died. She died of, I can't remember what disease, but it was older age. Her husband's buried here, and he's buried in St. Philip's, which we're going to go by. Probably just belly up business. Happens all the time over here. Well, parking lot, what do you call it, bought it. They're making a mint on it. They charge $15 a half an hour parking. Oh, wow. So they are going to build a commercial hotel.
Stop it.
What do you say?
Handsome boy.
Handsome boy.
You heard clear as day. Handsome boy.
That's a long sentence.
Wow.
Rest is talking.
Yeah. I've heard like a bunch of radio chatter. And
Yeah.
It wasn't like that. It was different.
Handsome
It
boy.
was a woman that said handsome.
It was a
boy.
I
woman.
used to have a ball speaker on there, so we could all hear it. But my first toy broke and snapped. And then I was like, well, this way I can actually use the other apps and we can listen to that while we have somebody legitimately making sense of what's happening.
Right here in about where that sewer cap is,
Yeah.
it was, you hear a lot of radio chatter.
Okay.
But like right now I'm hearing the songs. But as I walked over there,
Well, if
Eliza.
if she's hitting on you, she better back up. Tell her to
Go
back
to
up.
red if you're here, Eliza.
Ghost is sitting on the
I've had
net.
that thing so active where it literally was about to come up red and it's just kind of flickering on the 2 red dots. And he asked Eliza to back away for it to go to green, and it immediately went to green. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I had that experience when I worked in Cotton Mill. That was always freaky.
How old are you?
Lee Cotton Mill.
Oh.
It's not downtown. Oh my God. A cotton mill.
I was like, I didn't even realize it was still a job that you did.
How's your camera working? seeing anything come through?
No.
Sally.
You have to tell me that.
We talked about it. We asked Sally to cut the lights
Response.
out. She did. The cook said that the burners just turned off on themselves.
Liza, if you're here, tell us that you're here. Start asking questions like I did last night. Liza, can you tell us your name?
You've actually had it come across as saying Eliza?
Eliza, plain as day.
And your ponytail is. So what's away from
Start
your
with something
head
simpler.
I just had a coach deal.
I just heard
Like
Van
when it goes
Halen.
away.
What'd you hear?
Van Halen.
Van Halen?
Eruption.
She likes Van Halen? That's cool.
She just heard that.
Eliza, how many wives did your husband have?
4.
4?
I heard 4.
That's correct.
I heard 4.
Were you
How many-
mad at him?
Well, here, how many wives did Charles have named Eliza?
2?
2.
Oh, I heard 2.
She was the second, so
Yeah.
she's referred to as Eliza Lucas Pinckney.
I told
And I've
her
had the
too.
name Lucas come through on one of these tours, so
Why
we're here
did he
to...
have 4 wives and why 2 named Eliza?
Don't know.
Like, did they die?
But she forgives him.
Forgive. That's my coach deal.
He
Eliza,
likes to get Fergie.
tell us about your plants. Tell us about what you grew here. Eliza, what kind of plants did you grow here? Come on, Eliza, I got a whole new group here that wants to see that you're here.
That's not much here.
Yeah, I get a lot of that. Just a reverse, yep,
Yeah.
just a reverse male voice. Eliza, what kind of plants did you grow here? Find? Well,
You gotta find them
I'm
yourself.
not gonna find them myself.
They're not here anymore.
If I go higher, I get red.
Eliza, can you come closer to us so we can get a better reading?
Right there. Right there. Look at that.
Look at the light now. Is that not flickering faster, or am I imagining things?
No, it is. Just full on above Amber's head.
Eliza, who else is here? Charles? Is Charles here?
Small shit.
It's our blood. And that's-
Blood? Blood?
Blood-berry body, I find that's usually what comes up over here. Come on. Who else is here?
Male finger?
Is there somebody else here?
You want a red light? You want a red light? I don't want to light it. I feel like we might not meet them.
Yeah, you don't stick that probe anywhere.
A lot right now.
Eliza, I gotta move this group. Do you want to say goodbye? Bye.
Oh. That was bye.
Oh, I heard it that time. What'd she say? It sounded like bye, I thought. Did it not?
It was a big bye last time.
Yeah, I thought I heard it.
Does she sometimes want to go?
We can ask her.
Okay, let's ask her. Let's respect her.
Go ahead.
Now you ask her.
Do you want us to leave? Do you want us to leave? Every time I say that, I go.
Eliza, do you want us to wait or do you want us to go? They're not in sync. Yeah, these apps are meant to be games. They're meant to be but I've had so much activity come from them because I believe spirit activity can emulate them. Just have to know how to read it or what it's going to do. He was going red. So we're gonna walk about 2 blocks.
I could be
Again,
wrong, but
pretty much not gonna work.
I thought that window up there was pretty cold for
You can continue to film the whole thing just in case we catch something. You just never know.
What's that building straight ahead?
I could not tell you. Again, I'm not going to make stuff up for the sake of the tour. So,
No, that's fine.
if I don't know something, I'll just flat out tell you I don't know.
It just looks like an old warehouse.
Yeah, I'm thinking of the next one.
What's his name again? Nick?
Yeah.
Yeah, the fuck.
Go ask him.
I had one of those before. Nextel. I had a Nextel. How many years?
We did a walking tour 2 years ago. The walking tours are the best.
Okay, I hate boxing style.
What? No, you didn't, because that's his fucking turn. He was looking at me hard as fuck. You see his bitch looking at me right now, laying through the You seen it, James! You seen it! She went
What you doing?
Any heat around Jason?
Yeah, you can borrow it.
Go for Hitler.
No.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Amber, your thing's blowing up.
It's probably all of it. For the beer towers? My phone's blowing up? That's the call. Just talking about that thing, not your phone.
Like my phone?
Not your phone.
So long. You said it wouldn't work.
Too much stuff going on through here. Gotcha.
Look at the dog around. The dog around.
Beautiful. Hi. You're cute. You're so cute.
Okay, it is like
So cute. Okay. Oh, that's where we ate first time we came here.
Yeah? You're going to because the restaurant's yesterday. So behind me is Lodge Alley. Lodge Alley Inn. We are standing in Lodge Alley. Significance here is that it's super creepy. All the bricks are original. And we're talking early 1700s. This is exactly where the Masons used to meet. So
In the alley?
in the alley. This is a cool night for us. So this is where they would meet. Right here. So kind of like a really cool spot for me to stop, kind of catch up on what words came through on our walk down here. And this is also where I usually tell you one of the psychic tales that I had from when I was in Myrtle Beach. So I usually tell the Brentwood restaurant because it was by far my most active with the psychic. So a super cool thing, you guys can lean up against the wall or relax, it's going to be a few minutes. But the premise of the book was I would pick the psychic up, not tell them where we were going, and just tell them how long we were going to be gone and how to dress. So if we're going to be indoors, outdoors, those kind of things. So I pick them up, so we're going to be gone about 4 hours. We got to drive. We went to Little River, South Carolina. So you guys know where that is?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a restaurant in there, Brentwood Restaurant. It's like in the top 50 of most haunted places in America. I didn't know a whole lot about the place. I contacted the owner's wife. She said we could come tour before they opened, and I asked her to promise not to reveal anything until after the psychic did his thing. So on the way there, he would do automatic writing. Are you guys familiar with that?
Yep.
Okay, so his hand would go nuts and write all kinds of things down. So he wrote down the initials EM, the letter C, fish is okay for breakfast, I feel lucky, and thanks for the recognition. And there was a ton of other numbers and dates that actually matched up, so you have to read the blog post. I don't memorize dates, sorry. But when we got there, we met the wife and the owner, who was the chef of the place. It was a French restaurant, French cuisine. And he went straight to the chef and he said, "You have the same initials as the former owner. Can you please tell me what your name is?" He said his name was Eric Masson. So the initials EM that he wrote down on the way there. So the wife starts laughing. And I said, "Well, you have to reveal it. It's a joke now at this point, so please reveal why you're laughing." Apparently the former owner, the only other former owner, was Essie McCorsley, E-M. So we have that connection there. The letter C was her husband, Clarence. So super cool stuff there. As we tour the place, we get all those other things, and he starts, like, we're in like a breakfast nook area, and he said, "This is where this is relevant. Fish is okay for breakfast." The wife starts laughing. She says, Essie used to take in boarders that were sailors, and she would cook whatever they brought. So fish was okay for breakfast. Keep in mind, we wrote all this shit down before we even got there. As we pull in, initially, you have to go down one little side street, Luck Street. There's the I Feel Lucky. The other piece of that was at the end of the tour when we're all sitting down in the dining room. The psychic had a whole ceiling full of ladybugs above him and him only that were not there when we started the tour 2 hours prior. Ladybugs are a sign of luck, which was super cool. The other cool thing, thanks for the recognition, the house was originally moved, which I believe the word moved was on that sheet. I have everything up on the blog post. Rifle has no relevance to what we're talking about, unless it has relevance to what's down here. But at any rate, oh, you're good, you're good. So the word moved was on there, but when they moved the house, because there was some kind of flooding zone or whatever, they named the street corners of where the house was after Essie's last name and her what's the word I'm thinking of? Maiden name, thank you. Maiden name and her married name. So it was Besant and Horsley Street. So that's where the Crossroads was, the house was at. So a lot of cool stuff there. There was a lot of dates that dealt with Hurricane Hazel. And she used to take in the borders, and he had this, it was a crazy story. But those were kind of like the things that aren't dates that I can memorize for the tour, just to kind of prove psychic ability. Have any of you guys ever dealt with a psychic before that you were like, wow, this guy's really good, or this person's really good? You know? I've had 2, and he's one of them. So, but those are, there's 4 or 5 that we did together, where every single time we did something, it was that accurate. So, nevertheless. So at the end of this alley, we're going to be in residential area, which means tourists cannot do touristy things. We can pass by, we can't wave grid pens because people live there. So we're going to go down to the end of this alley, we're going to make a right, and then we're going to cross the street and go a little further inland, like 1 block. So let's go up. Any activity come through the spirit box? Sorry, I forgot to ask. Because you just, this is not an active place. But every once in a while, I'll get something that comes through that makes sense. Okay. Either to the story that I'm telling, or...
Let's go bring an old Salem in the hall.
Yeah.
That would be.
Sounds like old Salem too.
Yeah, that'd be a cool place to take a thermal camera.
Oh yeah, yeah, we're good.
They do a tour there.
They do a ghost tour there? We haven't done it.
Yes, we're good. We play this a little bit, I'll hold that. No.
Yeah, there you go.
That's where it's from. So it's really rich in history.
Yeah, sure.
Yep.
Is that still a thing?
Sure.
You have to play with the camera. Oh, look at that door.
Wow.
It's beautiful.
Switched again?